Hello, you guys, and welcome back to my Versus Me podcast. And today I am joined by Reverend Chanel, who is a metaphysical practitioner, as well as CJ, who is a well-versed in all kinds of biblical studies, who lends us his expertise in the field of Christianity. And we kind of come together to discuss different topics about spirituality and love and Christianity, and we kind of just explore all of these elements and talk and discuss about a particular topic. And today's topic is going to be on self-awareness. So we like to start with a definition and kind of understand what we're all talking about here. Self-awareness is the ability to recognize and understand your own thoughts, emotions, behaviors, and how they affect others. It means you could kind of step back and observe yourself almost like an outsider and see yourself in a different perspective. Give yourself a time to kind of stop and think before you act or react to something. So you guys, what do you think? How do you become? What would be the first step in becoming more self-aware?
Go ahead, Uncle CJ.
Self-aware, what's the first step? Hmm,
Yeah.
that's a good question because we come here and everybody tells us everything about who we are, what we should do, what we should look like, what we should say, how we should act. When do we ever have time to figure out who we actually are? I
Yeah.
mean, even growing up through adolescence, through adulthood, even partnering with others, when do you ever have time to really find out who you actually are? It's kind of difficult. It's kind of hard. I think a lot of people still don't know actually who their real self is. Who are you? Who are you actually? Most people it takes hitting rock bottom to discover
Mm.
themselves. Turk certain hurts or pains or experiences in life before they'll actually begin to start taking a more inner look at who they are, who they think they should be, or start asking themselves questions. Now, why did I do that? Why did I say that? Why did I act that way? I mean, we all have experiences coming up to where we saw that we asked those questions, which goes to show me that I read somewhere where in self-awareness, you're either two people, you're either the actor or you're the critic.
Hmm.
You're either the actor observing yourself or you're the critic of who you're actually watching. So self-awareness, I think it takes time before you ever start beginning to ask your own self those questions. There's certainly exercise, things we can do. What do you think, Neil? Me, he kick it off to you.
Hmm.
I think that was great. Just a way to give everyone a well-versed space of actually, hey, why? Like when do you start to actually ask yourself those questions?
Yeah.
Mm.
When you get sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yeah.
I
Fair.
was about to say another word. However,
Mm-hmm.
when you get sick of the same things, the same, oh, I did this, man, I did that already, but I keep getting the same response. Like, I keep feeling like this. When you get sick of feeling like that, like being sick is to be ill. That means you're resting and you're recovering. That's what
Mm-hmm.
it means to be sick. When you're sick, you're ill. That's the etymology of sick.
Mm.
You're healing, you're recovering, and you have to figure out how to recover. Now, our bodies are master healers. Our
Yeah.
bodies already know what to do.
Yeah,
However, having this human experience, we have to be the ones to say, what do I have to do to start this?
right.
And like you said, it's asking yourselves those questions like, am I? Why? What? Why do I feel this way? Like, being aware of yourself, your emotions, and the people who are all involved in your life. Because it ain't just, if you were just having this experience by yourself and there was no one else involved, you might not ever get sick of your own stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, I totally understand that. And it kind of leads me to believe or to ask the question, is awareness enough to like cause change, to cause someone to I guess have the catalyst for change in their life? What do you guys think?
I think that's where the beginning starts.
Exactly what I was about to say. Those are my
Yeah,
exact words.
and until you come to grips with your own feelings, your own thoughts, I mean, even putting that together and it making sense to you and you understanding it, and even shutting out all of the other voices and thoughts from others about yourself. I mean, when you realize I got to do this for me, or this is going to be on me, and I have to go through this for myself. This is the experience that I need. That you have to, you got to come to grips with those things. And when you do, you realize, like Nell said, this ain't working. I'm tired of this. This ain't getting better. This is getting worse. This is playing out, and I'm not getting the results that I know I should be getting. So that's what begins when you come to grips with the end of yourself and know that you hadn't gotten no further than you did 5 years ago, 1 month ago, 1 week ago.
Yeah.
You're still at the same point. You got to find out that, hey, this there has to change. A change has to come, and it starts where? Self-examination. It has to start.
Yeah, yeah. I would agree. I think a lot of us haven't developed that eye to be able to look at ourselves with this perspective because a lot of times, let's just call a spade a spade. People want to blame other people for certain things that are happening in their lives. And you really do have to be self-aware. You have to realize the habits um that you entertain. You have to realize the patterns that you have, and you really have to hone in on, like you were saying, that like why do you do those things? And because it's almost like you have to shift perspective. And that's a key element of higher consciousness. And I want to read something that I kind of had in my notes here. So it says self-awareness isn't just a nice to have inside of consciousness. It's what gives consciousness direction and depth. Think of consciousness as the light being on and self-awareness as turning that light inward. Um, it matters because it turns experience into understanding. Without self-awareness, you have thoughts and emotions, but with it, you can observe and interpret them. Consciousness is I feel anxious, but self-awareness is I feel anxious because I'm afraid of being judged. It's knowing the reasons why
Yes,
you feel the way you feel, like you were
Exactly.
pointing out now.
precisely.
Yeah, yeah. So that helps
There's,
kind of like put it into perspective a little bit, but it is still
mhm.
so hard to like how do you jump from being, you know, living life to being like, oh, wait a minute, I have a pattern here.
Yes.
I don't know. What do you
I mean,
think?
and once I believe I've said this before, it's really easy for us to see other people, but it's very difficult for a lot of people to turn that mirror to themselves and
Hmm.
look at themselves and be honest. Because
Yeah.
that's where it starts. It starts with honesty. You have a responsibility to yourself to be honest with yourself. And
Yeah.
when things are going, one day I would love to share this story with y'all. Like, this is not like, maybe we can do this another time, but
Hmm.
the space where I learned the art, because it's almost like making it fun for yourself, because a lot of people think it's supposed to be, or think it's something that takes you deep and dark, and it can get there if that's where you're choosing to go.
Hmm.
However, self realization and being able to turn that inward can be a lot of fun. And it gets to the point where it can be almost like I can't live without this anymore.
Mhm.
Instead of looking at it from instead of looking at other people, now I can only look at myself in all these situations. I
I
can
kind of
only look at me. I can't look like I can. They're just showing me what I need to see.
yes, it's the mirror, right?
it's 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 the mirror effect. Like I said, I would
Yeah,
I would love to share that with y'all one day, and maybe we can do
yeah,
it
Sounds
on another
great.
segment,
yeah.
where we talk about where like a time when we
Hmm.
realized and we were actually on this path because I remember it like it was yesterday. I remember how I felt, what I saw, what it smelled like in the room. I remember all of this.
Wow.
And
Mm.
it took me to a point where I said, "Oh, I'm thinking this stuff. This is not anybody outside of me thinking this. That's me.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
choosing to experience this. Why
yeah.
am I choosing to experience this? That's where shadow work comes in.
Yes, yeah,
That's where deep diving into yourself. Like I said, if you want to go that deep, by all
yeah,
means, you have a choice.
yeah,
However, when you realize those, like you said, those patterns, those personality traits that we
Yeah.
have, that we've established throughout our lives for ourselves to
yeah,
survive, to feel like we need to fit in. Like there's so many things, and our thoughts are clouded with what other people think and what we think we're supposed to be for other people. And
hmm,
it's like,
Exactly.
hey, what are you supposed to be for yourself?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what matters. Like, so do y'all know who Reverend Ike is? Have you heard of Reverend
Yes.
Uh,
Ike?
I
I've heard of
have
him.
not.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Reverend
I've heard
Ike,
of
if
him.
okay, so you're familiar with him.
Very positive person.
Yes, very positive.
Yeah.
He was very famous for he had a lot of his way of thinking and doing and preaching was for basically everyone to realize that they were God, that you could say you were rich and you could actually become that. And I remembered as I was researching for or like coming and compiling information for this, I remember that he said something and I found his quote. His quote was, "It's not important what other people believe about you. It's only important what you believe about yourself."
Mhm.
Exactly.
That is a key to self awareness, to self realization, because when you stop and you realize it ain't about nobody else.
Yeah,
Yep.
Numero
Even
uno, baby. Numero uno.
yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Even the scripture says, as a man thinks in his heart, so is
So
he.
his he.
So too many people have compiled their thoughts and imaginations in us. We need to get that stuff out of us, and we need to begin to formulate or reprogram our own mind, imaginations, inner images, and thinkings and patterns to where we can at least begin to build the true image that's really within us individually.
yeah.
Facts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. It one of the points here is that it allows intentionality, identity creation, which is kind of what you're talking about, Daddy. That connects directly to your framework. So mental switch, noticing your patterns, then your desire, choosing what you want, and then creation, defining who you want to be. So none of that works without self-awareness first, and you can change what you don't see in your life. Based on you just being aware of the thoughts you're telling yourself, right? And
yeah,
to your point a minute ago, Nell, and just about how it can kind of be a game and kind of be fun. I feel like that's kind of where I am right now in my journey is just everything I think, I immediately turn it to myself and say, well, why did I think that? What
Yep.
pre-notions am I
Mm-hmm.
having? What life experience led me to think that that person would think that way? Let's
hmm,
analyze myself now, and not necessarily that person and what they have done or what they did, and just say, why does that bother me?
Mm-hmm.
It's really turning the camera on you. Any question you ask about somebody else, actually turn it to yourself and say,
Ask your
yes. So
ask yourself that.
yeah. Don't be
yeah.
afraid to talk to yourself. Hey, what are
I
you
mean,
doing? You can't do that. That's crazy. Or, hey, I can do this. I am going to entertain this. I
yeah.
remember there
Mm-hmm.
used to be such a theory about Christians. Christians couldn't drink. And I
Oh
thought,
yeah.
man, why can't Christians have a drink? And then I read the scripture. Jesus said uh, that you can drink wine for the sake of the stomach. And then he said, don't be drunk with wine as in excess, but be filled with the Spirit. He didn't push wine away. He said, you can have wine and you can drink wine. Just don't do it excessively. That's all he said. But
Yeah.
growing up as a Christian, Christians can't drink. We can't smoke. Man, that was so much malarkey until I started saying, wait a minute, who is telling me what I can and can't do?
Yeah.
And sometimes one thing that I've adapted to my own self is don't allow others to impose their views on your own thoughts or your own behavior.
Hmm.
Don't let anyone
Mm-hmm.
impose their own views on your thoughts or behavior. You make the decision of what your thoughts or behaviors are going to be. Don't let them impose what you should do upon you. Don't let them do that. I think that's what made Christianity so dormant to where it couldn't really evolve and where it began to lose its attractiveness because it, we're too busy trying to be like someone else. And
Yeah.
we're not really focusing on who we really are. And I
Yeah.
think that's who God originally wanted us all to do. Hey, you be you, and let
Yeah.
me be you with you, and let's see what happens, what you become,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind
what
of
you
like,
evolve into.
right, right. It's kind of like basic consciousness is just awareness of your surroundings and kind of like what's going on around you. But if you want to go to our higher consciousness, is kind of like what we've been talking about over these last few episodes. It's awareness of yourself and your experience that you're having. And so that's a huge component in learning how to tap into higher consciousness is just being self-aware of yourself and what you're doing and what
Mm-hmm.
what's shaping
Yep.
your world truly by your thoughts, right?
Yep. Your
Um,
thoughts. Yes. And also, if I may interject and
yeah,
insert this, there's also the things that we see, the things that we choose to put into our bodies, the food that we eat, the things that are like doing the things that we know we're supposed to do to make us feel good, to make us feel better.
yeah,
And it's just like when you're on a journey and you're working out.
hmm
Do it, do something. Dang, James had a saying that he was saying, just be 1% better the next day.
yeah,
Like do
That's
1%
good.
more the next
Yeah.
day, just by, because all it takes is a step. just
hmm
just keep making steps, keep making strides every day. We're human, like having a human experience, so we have this microwave thing where we want everything to happen and be like right here right now. Like you're not going to figure it out right here right now. If you have
yeah,
Exactly.
an emotional breakdown and you're deciding like I got to change everything about everything that I do, we want to throw everything out and reinvent ourselves, and you can do that. You're just going
yeah,
to spend a lot of time picking through those things because you're going to realize like, okay, I didn't need to throw that out. I was
sure,
throwing everything out, and I
Yeah.
just needed to pick this and go at this right here right now.
yeah,
So it's also just something to say that you don't have to do it all at once. You can build, you can
Exactly.
do it every single day. Then you get practice in it, and then you're doing it effortlessly. And like I was saying before, Rita, like you said, it's
yeah,
like a game almost. You're looking for what you're doing and why you did this. And when you go to the grocery store and you choose to push your basket all the way in, and then there's someone else who chooses to not push their basket all the way in. Like,
hmm
I'm not looking at why they didn't, I'm looking at why I did.
Mm.
Like, I'm doing this because this is me. This is what I would choose to do.
Right.
And
sure,
other people might look at me and say, oh, you doing too much. That's
yeah.
you looking to put that on me. That's not me. I didn't say that.
Why aren't you doing enough would be the follow-up
Exactly.
question, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
So, but yeah, just
yeah,
do 1% better every single day. Just keep practicing at it. Keep looking at things and examining things and questioning things. Some of the words that we use are not the proper words we should be using. We should be using, we bought etymology dictionaries years ago
hmm
just to distinguish and say, hey, am I saying this properly? Am I
hmm
Right.
using am I using the words that are going to get me exactly what I'm looking to receive?
yeah,
Like there's so much that comes with awareness. Like self-awareness is the first step. Like you
yeah,
said, that's just the beginning, just knowing to be aware. And
yeah,
then everything else allows you to reveal yourself to yourself.
yeah, absolutely. And I do find myself I'm having to learn how to kind of turn it off a little bit because I find that when I hear people talk negatively about themselves, about
Mm-hmm.
situations in their life, I want to interject and actually I had this whole conversation with this lady at my job because she was making comments about herself and I instantly want to be like, don't speak about yourself like that. There's power in the things that you say, right? And
Yeah.
so um she was saying something to me about think we kind of got to talking a little bit about manifesting, and she's like, yeah. She's like manifestation works. And I was like, well, it could. And she was like, well, I just think I want a man and I'll get a man. I was like, well, not exactly, but if you figure out it starts with yourself, your self-awareness, what are your beliefs about relationships? What are your beliefs about men? What are your beliefs about love and you being able to receive love? It starts with you before you can even attract a guy that would meet your criteria. Then you would need to know what you're looking for. So and then she was like, oh, and before I knew it, I'm going into like all this schmeal with her, and I'm like, maybe I went too far, but she was
No, you did not.
receiving it.
Exactly. That's the key.
Yeah.
That's the key because she really was almost talking herself out of it
Mm-hmm.
till
Mm-hmm.
you're obviously someone who she's listening to. Like
Yeah.
she actually heard what you were saying. You were having an exchange, and she trusts that.
Yeah.
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 She trusted that. Like
Yeah. And then she asked more questions and she's like, "Oh, so I never thought about it like that." Her whole demeanor
you
shifted from
go,
like
girl.
funny about
You
that to like,
go.
huh,
You
you
go. I
know, but
love that. I love that so much.
but I find myself all the time wanting to just Dory has this thing where she'll say "dame tu mano," which means give me your hand, like pow pow, because you said something negative and I'm not gonna allow you to do that, or I don't let my
Hmm.
friends talk to themselves like that. And so I find these moments where I want to be like, damn it, Demana, don't say that about yourself,
Yeah. Hmm.
like don't do that. Like,
Yeah.
raise your self-awareness and ask yourself, well, why would I say that? What are my beliefs about this? What do I really think? Do I really think I'm not, worth love, or do I really think nobody would, you know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
go deep into those questions and try to find the answers. Like goes back to shadow work, right? But like
Yeah.
go and
Well,
try to find
yeah.
the answers to those things.
Yeah, you don't think the same way anymore.
No, yeah.
Who you are now is not who you were then. There's a quote I found said sometimes your past self doesn't have your present self-awareness. And sometimes that can just simply be the case. You know who you used to be. Now you recognize that's not you anymore, but you can
Hmm.
almost hear and see yourself in something someone else said or maybe someone else done.
Oh,
You
sure.
can sense that, but your new self-awareness is it's not the same. It's like it's not it's a that it's a flag, but it's like it's a pop-up that comes up there. Wait a minute, that doesn't sound right, or that doesn't witness with my inner man or my inner thought
Mhm.
or my way of thinking. It just changes. And sometimes when you hear something that doesn't, it's not the present you, then hey, you stop it immediately and you just you say, no, that's not what I'm gonna entertain or be a part of, allow to be a part of my life.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
got it's back to guarding your heart, you know. But
Yeah.
you hear it in others, and then what do you say? You want to help them,
Yeah.
but you don't want to be someone that's unattractive. But there's always the space to where it gives you that moment to where you can be a person who lifts them up and helps them. And sometimes you hear it because it's to do what? To train you to be ready when someone needs you to them to lift you up and they need you to be the one to do it.
Yeah.
You were there for them to hear it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think they get to that point where they could ask themselves, what would you change in your life if you were fully aware of your triggers? If you were fully aware of the
Mm,
things that take you into spirals and all these different places, like what would you change about yourself? So I
mm.
think it's an important discussion, an important topic to practice in your own lives as you get time and get a moment to become aware of your own self-awareness and what you need to realize about yourself to help you in all aspects of your life. We just kind of touched the tip of the iceberg here. We can definitely circle back and talk more about self-awareness. If you guys have questions, please leave them down below. That'll be the end of this episode. And in the next episode, I guess it will be what, next week? We're gonna talk about something. What are we talking about?
Was it gratitude?
Meditation.
Oh, yeah,
Meditation, I think.
it was one of
Gratitude
Meditation.
first.
those.
Gratitude or meditation coming up. Yeah, in the next few weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you
Okay.
guys later. Bye.
Bye.